Are you in a desperate lack of income? Do you feel like you will never, ever be able to have what you need? Benjamin Franklin wrote in many of his quotes about saving money. A penny saved is a penny earned. Can we really live in today's society in 2025 with very little? But can we do it in a way that we don't feel like we're lacking? In order to live that lifestyle, we need to go back, and we need to go back in time, because it is our ancestors that are going to teach us on how to live on very little. Of course, there is so many more expenses that we have now than what we had back then. But yet, there are so many things we can do now. It's common sense. But you see, common sense is not taught in schools anymore, and common sense isn't something taught very much. How to budget, how to come up with ways to still have a high quality of life, even though we're desperately lacking of income. So we have to go back and say, what did our ancestors do? They didn't wash their clothing with hot water. They used cold water. And depending on how far back you want to go, they didn't even have a washing machine. But let's keep it relatively in the last 60 years. They hung wash on the line. Now, if you live in an area where you can't have a wash line, you can always have a wash rack, and you can put your clothes on the rack. Making your own laundry soap with a bar of soap. These things you can do. Do they have the high scent and the high suds that we're used to with our store-bought laundry soap? No, but we can do without. Even going to the Dollar Tree now, it's getting quite expensive. No longer is it $1 and $1.25, and now in most areas it's going to be $1.50 per item. Now we're getting into the area where things are a lot more expensive, so we make our own. Take yourself a bar of soap, grate it, add a little bit of a laundry booster, use some hot water just to dissolve it, and you have your own laundry soap concentrate. But one thing I will say about saving money and not spending money is it's a lot more work. So you are going to be juggling between how much work you want to do and how much money you want to save. Weight loss. Weight loss is another thing that was an added blessing to living on $800 a month and working more instead of spending, is because the more I worked, the less weight I became. Now, of course, things are different if you have medical expenses, and a great deal of people do have a lot of medical expenses. So that means they have to watch their penny even more. How can I save more money when I'm already saving more than what the average American is doing? That is a good question. And so now you see me collecting garden seeds. That way I don't have to buy garden seeds next year. It's a tedious process. And of course, I was so blessed to be able to sell garden seeds. Right here is some of my columbine, which would have been in part of the seeds that I had for all of you who were interested in them. I ran that for about 4 months, I believe, give or take a few days. And I'm saving some for next year. And what else am I doing? I am saving other seeds. Seeds that once cost me quite a bit of money back in the day when I had a higher paycheck. This lovage here came from the Williamsburg, Virginia Museum, and it was seeds that I grew. They came from Thomas Jefferson's garden, and I'm saving the seeds so I will always have them. And then next year, maybe I won't have to buy any seeds at all. Take your home life, write down your expenses, and see what can you pare down. Now, for instance, with me, I don't have a cell phone. We don't watch videos on a cell phone. My husband has a burner phone, which is only about $14 a month, and that's only just for emergencies. So we're really saving a lot of money there. Creating things that I already have and going through all of my stash of things and using it up. For years, I thought it would be fun to just hoard things and keep it. And now I'm using it up. There are simple solutions, but they can become difficult to learn new skills if you're not used to it. I canned tomatoes this week, and they were just simply tomatoes. So I have a lot of videos on canning, and I will show you some in my videos, but I just have so much of the content, and it's just every day growing tomatoes, or you get them very cheap at a farm market, or someplace like that. The seeds were free, the tomatoes were free, the jars were free because I had them. I had lids that I had tucked away and saved. So I'm using all of my prepping items. Take a look around your home before you think you need to buy something. Look and see if you have something you can substitute. In cooking and everything, you don't have to do things just by the book. You can reach out and try something different and do what you can with what you got. I thought I would need more money, so I ran myself ragged, became extremely nervous and had tension and anxiety, and I realized that the market is saturated with social media. I don't need more money, I just need to find ways to spend less. And for me, with my social background, and for me with my way of thinking, it was so much easier for me to spend less than try to make more. Now, of course, there's some people out there that are very ambitious and they would rather work more. For me, I'd rather work less. And that is what I started doing the last 6 months, and it became quite apparent to me that less is more and less is best for me. So if you're desperately in a lack of income, saving more money by not spending it can make a big difference, even if it's $2 at a time. Now, I understand that a lot of YouTube channels are repetitious. I understand a lot of frugal channels will say the same thing. But see, here is the difference. And I'm passionate about this because everybody saves money differently as far as the way it looks in everyone's home. Not everyone makes dish soap out of bar soap. And if they do make it, they might make it different. And we can learn. And we can adapt what the information that we find, and we can adapt that to our own special needs. So for me, the desperate lack of income was a whole world that opened up to me because I was never taught how to live on a low income. You see, I grew up in a very higher based income bracket when I was a little girl. I did not grow up with the lack of income. And there's a world of people like me out there. I said to somebody the other day, I really believe that if you were born poor, it's easier to accept and to adjust and to live that way than if you were born affluent and all of a sudden you didn't have that anymore and you had to scramble to try to make your life work out. There is a big difference. Now, my mom and dad were frugal in the sense that they didn't waste a lot of money, but they had all the money they needed. And so, in other words, we didn't know what to do if you didn't have money for laundry soap, or if you didn't have money to go buy meat and things like that. They could buy anything they want. They were very conscious about what they bought, but they didn't have to improvise ever. And they didn't know what it was to not have something. I want to say a special thank you to Marlene for giving me this material. I had talked about wanting material that's brown. And I would like to make a whole bunch of handkerchiefs for my hair in the pioneer look. And this is perfect. She gave me large amounts. So in other words, it's about a yard and more than that. I absolutely love it. I'm going to be making this in my hair and for all kinds of projects. Absolutely love it. So I really want to thank you, Marlene, for this beautiful material. This one here is a lot of it. She said she had a lot of material that she wasn't using. Oh, I just love it. And we're going to be making a lot of things for me to actually wear. So thank you so much, Marlene.